Hello, sports fans. Mauricio here. Well, this video is about entity integrity and referential integrity. Entity integrity makes sure every row in the table is unique. So just think of a company with payroll. You can have two employees with the same name, but they shouldn't get each other's paycheck. So you use a employee ID, which is unique, rather than their first name, last name, which may not be unique. So kind of a best practices is to use an integer for the primary key and make the primary key, an integer number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have the product ID. And we made that integer and we made it auto number identity column. If you want to make sure every row in the table is unique, you have to have a primary key. And it helps to, so that would say add primary key. It helps to add the auto numbering so you don't even have to worry about the value for the primary key field. It just puts in the next value for you, SQL does. So that's nice. But the first main concept is entity integrity, which means every row is unique. The next step is enforcing a lookup value, and that lookup value in some other table needs to connect to a primary key. So we need a primary key here, like product ID. Am I popping my P's yet? Sorry. We need a primary key to uniquely identify every row in the table. We also need a primary key to restrict values in other tables. So for example, I'll show you a sales details invoice line item in a minute. We want to sell only products we have. So in that other sales details table, we're going to make sure that we can't, sorry, I don't have these in the right order. So when we get to the sales details table, when they select a product and sell it, it has to be a real product. So in this sales details table, we're going to link this product ID in this table to the primary key product ID in the products table. And if you make that link, that which means is called enforcing referential integrity or putting in a foreign key constraint. When you make that foreign key constraint, then you're reducing the chance of any garbage line items in the sales details table. For example, we don't want to sell some product that's bogus, 999, product 999. And so we're going to have a foreign key for product ID and customer ID. But let's back up for a minute. So the products table has primary key on product ID, and so that means every product must have a unique value. So when you get too many tabs up here, you can click this little button over here on the right, and you could go and find your tab easier. Sometimes you'll have many tabs open, but glad this came up. Using SQL, in my opinion, is not like using a web browser where you have 20 tabs open and you remember to go back and read the rest of it later. This is use it and put it away, use it and put away. So you want to have just one or two windows open, because sometimes the changes in one window won't be reflected in another window until you save it and put it away. So you don't want to have many of these things open, because you can get into some circular catch-22 error. So I have a product 7008. So let me try to add another. Well, I can't add it because it's auto number, so I can't add one. But I could take one of these, and let's see if it lets me. Let's try that again. I'll bring it up in edit mode. It seems like these are frozen, so let's see if I could put 3000. Yeah, these are frozen, so I can't even screw up my own program. All right, so the products table has a primary key, and if I were to try to add another, for example, 7008, a Samsung TV, I guess. If I was trying to add another one of these, it wouldn't let me. And I'll demonstrate that in another video. So we have that entity integrity set for the products table. We have entity integrity set up for the customers table. The first field is made to be a primary key and auto number. Usually you have both, but maybe you won't always. So customer ID also is an integer. And just one more time, I like to use integers for identifiers, but never for a number that you might put into a calculation, because later you will see if you have a formula and you're dividing by a column that's an integer, the division doesn't work, or at least it chops off the decimal places because it's an integer. So you want to put all numbers as numeric, 8082 or whatever, but numeric, not int. So we have a primary key for the customers, and you see I have some customers here. Now that's entity integrity, so that's your primary key. So did you set up a primary key for that field? I hope so. All right, so here's leaping forward here. This is our transaction table, and it has, first of all, it takes two fields, two for the price of one. It takes two fields to uniquely identify every row in this table, and this table is line items. Sales details table is line items. So on invoice 1, we're selling product 1. On invoice 1, we're selling product 2. On invoice 1, we're selling product 3. So you're going to have duplicates in the sales ID. So entity integrity wouldn't work. We have invoice 1 several times. So it's the combination of sale and product ID together that uniquely identify each row. Even though there's two fields, it's still called one primary key. And you can only have one primary key per table. So two fields to make one primary key, and they call it a composite primary key. Now, it takes two columns, two bits of information. Like, look at all these sales ID for product 12. For sale 12, I have different products. I'll demonstrate in a bit that, when I show the stored procedure to add rows to the sales details table, but we're setting it up. So you set up the tables first, and then you add the rows. So it takes two columns to make the primary key. So that's a composite primary key. Now, in addition, we want to make sure that each product typed into an invoice is real, not some bogus made up baloney. So what you do is you right click relationship and click add. There's also a coding way of doing this. It's already been published if you want to practice the SQL create table and adding primary and foreign keys there. That's a good trick for serious DBAs. But I'm going to use the graphical. So you add a primary key. You might want to change the name here if you wanted to, but you click this tables and column specification. Click that. And what you want to do is put the primary key lookup table over here. So in our sales details table, whenever we select a product ID and you click these things in, and if you ever have like extra things here, you could just select it and bring it up to none, wherever none is. So I lost my none, so that's embarrassing. There we go, it came back, so that's weird. So product ID in the sales detail, so when we make a line item in the sales detail table, that product ID looks up to the primary key value in the products table. So I believe I have product 1 and 2, so I couldn't put in product 14 because I don't have one. So in the sales details table, the product ID field is going to look up to the primary key product ID field in our dimension table, and that's how you put in a foreign key constraint. So we need one for products and we need one for customers. So you would just right click customer ID, put in relationships. I guess you would add one, but I already did, so I'll show it to you. And you just click that little dots there. And then it's the same thing. In the sales detail table, the customer ID must be a pre-existing value in the customer ID in the customers table. So this is a important thing to keep your eye on, this little asterisk here. When you have changes that haven't been saved yet, you get that little asterisk there. And so you want to save and put this. So let me edit, so you can type in rows by editing there. So let me come down here and I'll put 68 for the sales ID. So this one isn't an auto number, so I can. All right, so I'm going to put product ID 999. Do I have a product ID 999? Nope. So it should make some error. I do have a customer 1002, so we should only get a product error, not a customer error. So we're putting in a new product here. So 20. Oh, okay. So this is the. I'm sorry. So that's even interesting. The program that we're going to create, the store procedure, it's automatically going to put the sales price in it for us. We don't really want the cashier or point of sale person, customer service representative, whatever. We don't want them putting in the sales price. So right here, I could just totally cheat if I was a cashier and I could give my friend a good deal. No. So I'll just put in $30. And again, it would calculate. So in the code we're going to write, it's automatically going to put in the product name for us, the sales price for us, and the line total. Multiply these things together. So we wouldn't have to. Boy, I don't even. Just a second. So 720, 30 times 24, 720. And I'll go and put the invoice date in here. But our stored procedure is going to automate a lot of this. So 8/20, 2025. Even though I put the date in there like that, it flips it to year, month, day. And that is some type of default presentation that can be changed somewhere. All right, let's see our error. The product, the foreign key constraint from products, from sales details to the products table, product ID, nope, doesn't work. So, okay, let me put in a real product. I have, I think, 1002 as a product. I had 1002 as a customer too. So that would work, but let me put in a bogus customer 14, and now it'll say, hey, your customer ID is wrong. Okay, so let me put in a real customer. I know we have a customer 2, so now it works. So this system stopped me from making a error in product ID and customer ID. That's called enforcing referential integrity. Can you dig it?